Welcome back to Washington Watch. I'm Joseph Backholm, sitting in for Tony today. Well, the FBI and former President Trump grabbed the headlines in the nation's capital this week, but we can't forget that tomorrow, before heading off to their August recess, the House of Representatives will vote on the reconciliation package the Senate passed by a Democratic Party line last weekend. For weeks, you've heard concerns about this bill, which in many ways is just repackaged components from failed legislation like Build Back Better and the Green New Deal. But this one, curiously, is being referred to as the Inflation Reduction Act. Joining me now to discuss all of its components is Quena Gonzalez, FRC's Senior Director of Legislative Affairs, and he joins me in studio.
Hey, Joseph.
Good to see you, Quena.
Good to see you.
Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the name of this thing. We got some new inflation numbers yesterday, slightly better than last month, still year to year, quite bad. Have we learned anything that leads us to suggest this will actually reduce inflation?
Well, Tom Brady fans notwithstanding, this does not reduce inflation. It is, as you said, a repackaging of several things that Democrats have wanted to do for a very long time, Joseph. Right. All of it will increase spending, increase the budget, and no, it's not about inflation.
Do you think this will also be a party line vote in the House?
It was in the Senate, and I think that will be true very likely in the House.
Now, the bill provides $369 billion in climate spending, right?
Yes.
What is that?
It is a boondoggle. It is a gift. It is a grift for the left. Green energy companies that tried and failed under Obama to use taxpayer dollars to bootstrap themselves into something that was actually profitable, they're getting another bite at the apple.
Give us an example of what you mean by that.
There were many examples under the Obama administration where solar
companies? I mean, they just startups, right?
Exactly.
They were funding startups,
right,
essentially?
Exactly, that had no business plan except to come to Washington, hire a lot of well-paid lawyers to be their lobbyists, and get government funding that would create an industry from scratch. This is a taxpayer-created market.
And is it really just political handouts? You can say, hey, we're being green, and so yay for us, we're going to save the planet. But then also on the backside of this, we're just helping out the people who got us elected. Is it that cynical?
Nearly. I think there are some people who are environmentalists who really do think this will save the planet. But the idea that the government using taxpayer dollars can create an entirely new market is just laughable. It is an absurd approach to energy and, frankly, to environmental stewardship.
Now, I understand that one of the things they want to do is turn all of the mail trucks into electric vehicles, something like that. Do you have other examples of what the markets that they're trying to create?
It is amazing. If you think about what is wrong long term with the United States Postal Service, their problem with unfunded liabilities, their unfunded pension issues, the last thing that they need to be doing is getting it's cash for clunkers all over again, right?
Well, we've done that before. I suppose this is history repeating itself. But there's another $60 billion in this for environmental justice initiatives, apparently. Is that different than the Green New Deal stuff?
Hey, Joseph, when you got a good grift going, why would you slow down?
I mean, it was $60 billion. You got to do something with that, right?
$1 billion here, $1 billion there. It's laughable. Originally, the bill was supposed to cost $728 billion with a last-minute deal that was cut in the Senate. We don't even know for sure how much this will cost.
One of the worst parts of this that's gotten a lot of attention this week is the $80 billion for 87,000 new IRS agents. Now, I haven't gone to do the math yet to figure out how much each of those guys are going to get paid. It feels like it's a good deal. But is this, what are they going to do?
Well, arguably, it's a good jobs program. But in all seriousness, 87,000 new agents to go after my grandmother, small businesses, to audit them, literally included in this deal as a way to raise revenue. The purpose for hiring 87,000 new IRS agents is to raise money for the government. And by the way, Joseph, 87,000 new agents would not fit in most college football stadiums.
Well, and as a football fan, I'm actually kind of aware of the size of stadiums and how many people you can fit in a building. And 87,000 people. That's a lot of people. We only got 50 states, right?
That's right.
So, we're sending tens of thousands into every single state.
Yes.
And earlier this week, I guess the projections are that they hope to recover $120 billion from taxpayers, just kind of squeeze more blood out of the turnip.
It would be laughable if it were not so sad. I think conservatives and conservative organizations like ours know that the IRS has been weaponized in the past to come after us ideologically. For years, this has gone on. The IRS initially denied a Christian organization their tax-exempt status because they mentioned biblical teachings in their application. There's a prior history at the IRS of targeting tax-exempt groups for additional scrutiny based on their perceived political affiliation. Last week, 40 House Democrats who will be voting on this bill tomorrow sent a letter to the IRS commissioner asking them to look into Family Research Council's nonprofit status because they don't like our politics. These kinds of misinformation and misinformation-fueled investigations of conservatives and conservative groups and of conservative individuals causes a lot of concern. I was here in 2012, Joseph, when an IRS agent anonymously, illegally leaked the donor list for the National Organization for Marriage and published it. It got published online. The news outlets that are attacking Family Research Council today were happy to publish that information online and to make sure that those donors to support marriage were targeted publicly, and an IRS agent was complicit in that. So yes, conservatives do have reason for concern about hiring 87,000 new agents to raise money.
And the timing of this is so suspicious because the raid of Mar-a-Lago by the FBI, nothing that has happened in the last week has made people trust their government more. Do you think this becomes a voting issue for the public?
It is hard to see how the loss of credibility by the government could not become a voting issue this fall, Joseph.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder who's gonna be campaigning on the platform that as soon as I'm elected, those 87,000 new IRS agents are gonna go find another job again.
Great point.
Right? Quena Gonzalez, thank you so much for your time and all your work.
Good to be with you.